My name is Bhavya Keni from Gumfa Road Municipal Secondary English School. Students, today we are going to revise chapter number 2 for political science, that is the electoral process. Now, students, the electoral process, it's basically the process of election that is conducted, okay, in our country. Now, as you can see in the pictures here, there is there's a written thing here, that is your vote, your right. Okay, so through elections, okay, we use our constitutional right, that is right to vote. Okay, the adult who have completed 18 years of age, they use the constitutional right, that is right to vote, and choose their representative. Okay, you might have many times seen your parents, your elder sister or brother, sister who have completed 18 years of age. During election they go and vote. Okay, this is this sign which they get on the, when once we vote we get a sign over the finger. Okay, so that so that means the one who has completed 18 years of age is eligible for voting, and by voting we are using our constitutional rights, that is right to vote. And in this chapter we are basically going to study and understand the structure, okay, and the function of the election commission. Now, who is election commission? Election commission is the, or is the firm which is responsible to conduct and the elections. Okay, we will also discuss the reforms. Okay, reforms means the changes which are required to be made in the electoral process. Now, in the last chapter, what we did, the working of the constitution, there itself we understood the importance of democracy, and our country India is a democratic country because we follow democracy. Democracy is a form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people, as well said by Abraham Lincoln, the famous US president. Okay, so it basically means that through democratic form of government, or by following the democracy, what is done is like we exercise our vote. Okay, we vote. Okay, and the one who gets majority of votes, okay, the candidate who is contesting for the election, the one who gets majority of votes, okay, wins the election, and takes and form and becomes a representative means they become a, on behalf of common people, they represent the country, they form the government and run the administration of the country. Okay, so here we have elections and representation are the two very important processes in democracy. It makes the democracy strong, and it indicates that we are following a successful democracy, both elections as well as representations. Now we will start with the importance of election. Okay, the introduction part, students. Now, elections have played a major role in the working of India's democracy. Okay, how it has played a major role? It makes India, okay, a democratic country because people use their constitutional rights, okay, that is right to vote, and elect the representative who forms the government and runs the government. Elections help to bring a change in power through peaceful means. Okay, if any of the political party, okay, who has won the elections, okay, and is running the government, after 5 years, after five regular intervals, the elections is held. Like after 5 years, again the election is held, and again there is the election held, and again there is voting done by the people, and the one who gets majority the again wins. So there is, in a very peaceful manner, the change in the power of the political party takes place. And what happens because of that? Different political parties, okay, they get an opportunity to rule or to govern, you can say. Policies of the government and the life of society also changes because the government changes, the policies of the government according to the political party will also change. They will implement their scheme, okay, their policies, okay, and accordingly the life of the people in the society according to the policies or the schemes implementation by the government will also change. The electoral process means the process of conducting the election. It should be free, fair, and reliable. Okay, it should be free, fair, and reliable. Means the process of election which is conducted, it should be free for the people without any cost involved. It should be fair. It should be just for all the people. It should be believed and trusted as well. Now, to ensure that, means to make sure that the elections are conducted free, fair, and reliable. The Constitution of India, the Constitution of our country, has made provision for an independent election commission. Okay, so the main role of conducting this election, the responsible is with election commission. So this provision is made to in election commission to administer the election process in our country, India. The next we have is representation. Okay, we in the previous slide we understood the importance of election. Okay, and who conducts and who on who and who is responsible for conducting the election. Now next we have is representation. Okay, the concept of representation. Now we know that people's representatives are selected through elections. As I said, when we vote, okay, the representative, the one who gets majority of votes, it's elected by the people as people's representative. Now we expect that the representatives we elect should be efficient. Okay, means the one who is representing our country or governing our country should perform their function in the best possible manner with least waste of time and effort. They should be honest and trustworthy, and they should respect the opinion of the people. Okay, means whoever representative is elected, they should be efficient, they should be honest, they should be trustworthy, and they should also respect the opinion of the common people, the need of the common people. Now as you can see in the picture as well here, students, okay, we have the representative of our country as the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji. And then we have for our Chief Minister of our state, Maharashtra, that is Uddhav Thackeray ji. Okay. Now they act as a representative of Narendra Modi ji as our country, and as of for our state, Uddhav Thackeray ji. Now, in a democracy, it is not possible to involve the entire population in the decision making process. Now, when it comes to democracy, like when it comes to the representative running our country, so the entire population of our country can't take the decision regarding the administration of the country. Okay, so what happened? This resulted in the starting of the practice of electing some people on behalf of entire population. Okay, so on behalf of entire population, there is some people who are elected through elections as representatives who would run the government. Now the representatives who form the government are expected to be responsible to the people. Okay, so whoever get the elected or majority vote and um, are elected as representative on behalf of people. Okay, what is they expected to be? They are expected to be responsible towards the people, towards the need and demands of the people. Okay, towards solving the problems of the people, and they have to give preference. Okay, to the welfare of the people. Okay, they have to form such a type of government with support intended to ensure that the members of the society can meet basic needs, at least such as food, clothing, and shelter, and other needs of the people. So this was about representation. Now we come to Election Commission. Okay. The Election Commission of India and the state level election commissions conduct all important elections in our country. Okay. So the as I already explained, already discussed, students, that this all the important elections of our country is conducted by the Election Commission of India and the state level election commission. Now they administer elections on to the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies in India, and the offices of the president and vice president in our country. The entire process of elections, okay, starting from declaring the date of elections to the declaration of results, okay, it is carried all this work is carried out under the direction and control of the election commission. The election process is inseparable component of the comprehensive democratic process. Okay, so the process of election, you can say, it cannot be separated. It's an inseparable part of because it includes everything which is based on system of democracy. So it becomes an inseparable component of democratic process. Now in India, the election commission is central to the process of election. Okay, now in our country, election commission is the most important, plays a most important role in the process of elections. Okay, now the to ensure that our constitution has also made provision, okay, in our constitution under article 324 to 329 of part 15 of the constitution, okay, it makes provision for election commission to administer the election process in India. And Art- Article 324 of Indian Constitution has established an autonomous body. Autonomous means, you can say, independent and having power to make decision on its own self, which consists of one chief election commissioner, okay, the main chief election commissioner, and two other commissioners. Okay, so this election commission, we have one chief election commissioner and two other commissioners. You can see in the picture the logo here on the right hand corner, picture, students, of Election Commission of India. Now you will think, students, who elects these election commissioners. Okay, so the election commissioners are appointed by the president. Okay, you should keep it in mind. You may get it in the choose the right option question as who appoints the election commissioner. So it is the president who appoints the election commissioners. The chief election commissioners cannot be removed from his post easily or on account of any political reasons. Okay, the chief election commissioner, they cannot be removed from their post. Okay, for any of the for any account of any political reason. Political reason, you can say, any reason relating to the state government, the body politic, public administration, policy making, etc. Because they are an autonomous independent body. So why it is so? Because this is necessary to preserve, so as to preserve the independence of election commission. Then the election commission does not have a separate staff. Okay, so they conduct the election, but they don't have a separate staff for it. Now who helps them in conducting the election? It is the government officers, okay, who are employed in government offices, the teachers and other employees. They help the election commission to execute, that is to perform this task of process, conducting the process of elections. Okay, so this was about the election commission in detail. Then we have a person here, that is Sukumar Sen. Okay, Sukumar Sen was the first chief election commissioner after independence. So one of the important name you have, important personality, who was elected as the first chief election commissioner for our country, India. Now, in 1921, Sen that was selected for Indian civil services, that is, you can say IAS, IFS, IPS, under the British rule. He was given the charge of election commissioner after the election commission was established in 1950. Okay. Now, the students, the first election which was conducted in our country was after independence. It was in the year 1951 to 52. Okay, and before that, the election commission was established in the year 1950. Okay, and who was given the in charge as the election commissioner, first chief election commissioner, that was Sukumar Sen. And Mr. Sen efficiently handled. Okay, Mr. Sen very efficiently, in a very precise manner. Okay, he handled, because it was the first election. We can think about so much of pressure he might be holding during that time. Okay, to conduct the election in a very successful and peaceful manner. Okay, but he handled the responsibility of the election commission in a very, it was a very difficult condition during that time, but he handled it very efficiently. Then we have the functions of election commission. Now, functions of election commission, most probably you may get in the brief answer, where you need to mention the points and elaborate the points as well. There are total 5 points altogether, students. The first point is preparing the voters list. Okay, so these are the functions, we whatever 5 points we are doing, but these are the functions that are been have conducted, that have been done by election commissions. So first is they prepare the voter list. Okay, so every Indian citizen who has completed 18 years of age has a right to vote. Okay, as I have explained you all in previous chapter also, students, previously the age was 21 years and it was restricted to few individuals to vote, but later it was made to the age was reduced to from 21 to 18 years, so that there is lot participation of youths or young generation in politics. To exercise the right of vote, citizen names must be in the voters list. Okay, so to use this right to vote, okay, the, Indian citizens, they must have their names in the voters list. You can see in the picture how the voters list looks like. Okay, and the vote your if you have to use the right to vote, the name should be mentioned in this voters list. It is responsibility of the election commission to prepare the list of eligible voters, update the existing voters list, and include the names of new voters. So, this voter list preparation, while preparing this voters list, the election commission is responsible. They have to prepare a electoral roll, a record of the name, a father's name, address, age, and the sex of the voter has to be prepared. And as new persons attain voting age, means ones who have completed 18 years, their names have to be added to the voters list. Names of those who have moved out of the place or those who are not existing anymore, or are dead, are deleted. That has to be done. Then persons who have completed 18 years are eligible for registration and eligible to vote after the name is published in the voters list. Okay, so all this responsibility is carried out by the election commission while preparing the voters list. The election commission has the authority to issue identity cards to the voters. Voters identity card means voter ID. Okay, voter ID cards. Okay, which you can see in the picture also here. It has electoral's name, father's name, the gender, and the age as well. And this voter ID, it also serves as a general identity card with address and age proof for other purposes as well. Then the next function that is carried out by Election Commission is to decide the timetable and the program of election. Okay. Now, to conduct the election is the, as we know, it's the entire responsibility of the Election Commission. So the Election Commission decides when to conduct the election and in how many stages to hold the elections in every state. So Election Commission, they decide that when to conduct, okay, the previous election, which was Lok Sabha election of 2019, you can see in the picture, okay, the schedule, how in phases it has been divided, okay, 7 phases, and in different in states and constituencies as well. So this schedule, okay, of the, or the, you can say, timetable is prepared by the Election Commission. The third point is scrutiny of the application of candidates. Now, what is scrutiny? Scrutiny is basically the careful and detailed examination, or you can say investigation, of the application of the candidates. Application of the candidates means the candidates who are going to contest the election, the scrutiny of their application, the investigation or the detailed examination of the application of the candidates is carried out by the Election Commission. Every political party selects the candidates to contest elections. Okay. So once the dates of the elections are declared, that on so date the elections will be held, the political party selects whom they want to, whom the from which political party who will contest the election. They select it. Then some candidates contest the election independently, means without the support of any political party. Few candidates, they contest or the election on independently without the support of any political party. Candidates of political parties as well as independent candidates have to fill the applications which include the information about their own self. Okay. Now the candidates of the political party who's going to contest the election or the independent candidates, both of them, they have to fill the application form which includes the information about their own self. Now the Election Commission scrutinizes, as I said, scrutinizes means careful, they examine it, they investigate the they check the detailed examination is done of the form and allows the eligible candidates, okay, the candidates who are eligible, okay, to contest the elections. So it is not that just the form is filled and the person can contest the election from the political party or independent. No, once the form is filled, the form is there's detailed examination, the investigation, then only the eligible candidates are allowed to contest the elections. Then next we have give recognition to political parties. Okay, this is also one of the function of Election Commission. Okay, that is to give approval to political parties. Now we have a multi-system party system in our country. Multi-party means we don't have one or two political party. We have many political parties in our country. New parties continue to be formed. Okay, now new parties, the other than the one who were existing for the long time, other than that, there are new parties who are continued to be formed. Split in the parties results in the formation of new parties. Okay? Split in the few parties who had formed a coalition government. Split in them also results in the formation of new parties. All political parties are required to be recognized by the Election Commission. Okay, so any political parties, new political parties also which is formed, they have to get approval from the Election Commission. Okay, Election Commission also have a right to de-recognize any political party. So the authority, okay, of not accepting or approving, okay, is also in the hands of Election Commission. The Election Commission also allots election symbols to the political parties. As you can see, the symbols, also might be aware of you can see the symbols of Indian National Congress, and then Bharatiya Janata Party, Bahujan Samaj Party, then NCP, Nationalist Congress Party. So these are the symbols which is given by Election Commission to different political parties. Then the next point, fifth point, under the function of Election Commission, that is the last point, that to resolve any disputes relating the election. Disputes means, students, any kind of disagreement, any kind of argument between the political parties related to elections has to be solved by the Election Commission. Now, Election Commission has the responsibility of resolving any disputes that may arise regarding elections. Accordingly, to declare any candidate as disqualified, okay, to declare that this particular candidate is not uh, eligible to take part in the election, as disqualified, or to conduct re-election in particular constituency, that is in particular division or ward, okay, is the responsibility of the Election Commission. So these are the 5 functions which is carried out, main functions which are carried out by the Election Commission. Now, in your textbook, page number 76, students, there are a few questions that is given, that why is it so? Some constituencies are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Okay. So what is the answer? It is difficult for many communities to get representation as they are scattered in different parts. Okay, there are many communities of our country. For example, we can take scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. They are scattered all parts of our country, all parts of our state or country. So without a representative, it is difficult to discuss their problems in parliament. So on behalf of them, there should be some representative who should discuss their problems, their needs in problems in parliament. So lack of representative will hinder their progress. So without a representative, it will make their progress slow or difficult. Hence, some constituencies are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The next question we have is, why every political party has an election symbol? So the reason is, after independence, the literacy rate was quite low in India. So after once we got independence, students, the literacy means the ability to read and write, was very less in our country. It was not possible for the voters to read the name of the candidate and vote. So it was not possible for many of the voters when during elections, when they come to vote, they couldn't read the name, okay, of the candidate and vote. So what provision was made, students? Therefore, the Election Commission gave symbols, okay, to the political parties which could be recognized by the voters, and the independent symbols to political parties as well as independent candidates, which help the voters to identify it and decide whom to vote for. Next is, at the time of voting and counting of votes, the official representatives of political parties, they remain present. Okay, so when there is voting done, or counting of votes are done, the representative who are contesting the election, they are remain present. Why is it so? There are incidences of duplicate voters who register in multiple constituencies. Okay, there are times when there are duplicate voters who vote in different wards or different divisions, different constituencies. So there are cases of rigging of EVM. Okay, rigging of EVM. Okay, EVM is the machine. Okay, which is used for voting now. Okay, so that machine rigging has been done. So this rigging means basically the act of dishonestly organizing an election to get a particular result. that is done, or booth capturing is done. Such incidences are brought to light by the representatives. Okay, so when the representatives are present while while counting of the votes or during voting, okay, say they check that and it is brought into light by them at the polling centers. Now during the counting process, okay, when the votes have been counted, okay, if for any reason the EVM machine, okay, where the through which the voting is been done, okay, so if it looks tampered, you can say, if it looks any kind of damage or made unauthorized alteration is done to that machine, okay, so this because the representative can raise an objection towards it if any kind of tampering is done to the EVM machine, that is the electronic voting machine. Then next question is, all recognized parties should get an equal opportunity to express their opinion on media such as television and radio. Okay, all recognized means all approved political parties, they should get an opportunity to express their opinion on media like TV and radio. Why is it so? The all political parties should get a fair chance to express their agenda. Agenda means the list of things they want to do. Their ideas and philosophy means what their belief should reach the people. Reach the people means mass of people. So, so they can use the mass media, that is television and radio, which is owned by government. For television, the Doordarshan, and radio, the Akashvani. So the political parties have equal right on both. Hence, all the recognized parties can express their opinion on Doordarshan and radio. Then you have to remember this, students. You may get in your question. Uh, who was the first voter of our country, India? That is Sham Sharan Negi from Himachal Pradesh. He was the first voter of India. He exercised his right to vote on 25th of October 1951 in Lok Sabha elections. Then we have process of election. Okay, now this flow chart. Okay, this flow chart you can get in your concept map or in your exam. Okay, in a concept map question where you have to, if the first point would be given and the rest flow chart points have to be completed by you. So for the process of election, the flow chart, the steps are given. So first is to the establishment of the constituencies. Okay, all this process is conducted by Election Commission of India. So first they establish the constituency, that is the electoral division or ward. Next is finalizing voters list. Then nomination of candidates and scrutiny of their nomination forms, the application forms they fill. Then the election campaign, that is a time when a politician or party they try to persuade people to vote for them. Then actual voting, then counting of votes, then results of elections, then resolution of disputes regarding elections. So this flow charts gives us the idea of process of election. You should remember this you may get it for your concept map, students. Then we have restructuring of the constituencies. Okay, the restructuring means the act of organizing a system in a new way to make it more effective. Now the total number of members in Lok Sabha is 543. Okay, so the total number of members in the Lok Sabha election is 543. So how are these members elected? Every member represents one constituency, that is one electoral division of ward. So it means there are 543 constituencies of Lok Sabha because there are 543 members, so 543 constituencies. So creating the constituencies is the responsibility of the Delimitation Commission of Election Commission. So who creates these constituencies? As you can see in the schedules also, um, 91 constituencies in phase 1, 97, then 115 constituencies, then 71 constituencies, then 51 constituencies in phase 5, then phase 6, 59 constituencies, phase 7, 59. This all totals up to 543 constituencies altogether. So who creates this? It's the responsibility of Delimitation Commission under Election Commission of India. Okay, so they have a high power body whose orders have force of law and cannot be called in question before any court. The Delimitation Commission, they does not succumb, means they do not obey to any pressure, any kind of pressure while restructuring the constituencies. Then we have next, that is code of conduct. What is code of conduct? This is also an important subtopic in this lesson. Okay, which you should understand, students, and you may get questions on this part as well. Now, what is code of conduct? Okay, students, it's code of conduct is basically a set of guidelines. Okay, as you can see in the picture, it's issued by Election Commission of India. So you can also say rules and regulation, which is issued by Election Commission of India for the conduct of political parties and candidates during election, which has the guidelines which has to be followed. Okay, by the political parties and the candidates as well. The Model Code of Conduct comes into force immediately with the announcement of election schedule by the Commission for ensuring free and fair election. Okay. So this Model Code of Conduct, it comes into force immediately once the date of election is or the schedule of election is declared by the Election Commission. Now, to ensure free and fair elections in India, the Election Commission has adopted several measures. So the Code of Conduct is one of the measures adopted by the Election Commission. In the last few decades, the Election Commission has used its power to control malpractices during elections. So, as the Code of Conduct is one of the steps adopted by Election Commission, okay, to conduct free and fair elections so that everyone who is eligible to vote is able to vote and no one should be discouraged from voting. And this uh, in the few decades, Election Commission has used its power, okay, control the malpractice, that is any kind of wrong or illegal behavior. So the Code of Conduct explains the rules that are to be followed by the government, political parties, and voters before elections and during elections. And it has to be mandatory followed by the government, political parties, voters as well before and during elections. Even the government cannot violate, that is, break the rule which is mentioned under this Code of Conduct. Due to the strict observance of Code of Conduct in the last few elections, the common voters have become confident. Okay. So, due to the strict observance of this Code of Conduct, strict implementation, you can say. So, and because of this, during the last few elections, the common voters, they have become confident to come and vote. Then we have one question which is meant there in your page number 77 of your textbook. Which two condition among the following is the violation of the Code of Conduct? The first one is the candidate distributes items of household use, promise made to resolve the water problem if elected, to go from door to door to meet voters and request them to vote, to appeal on the basis of caste and religion to get support. So, which of these rules would you include in the Code of Conduct for voters? Okay. Students, the first year the candidate distribute out household item, that is not correct under Code of Conduct, so that has to be scrapped. Okay. Promise made to resolve the water problem if elected is correct. To go from door to door to meet the voters and request them to vote is also correct. Then again, to appeal on the basis of caste and religion to get support is not correct. So 2 points, which is two condition which is correct, which follows the Code of Conduct is second, to solve the problem of water, and third, that is to go from door to door and request people to vote. So let's move on to the questions question part for this session. The first question is question number 1A, that is choose the correct option and rewrite the complete answers. The first one is election commissioner is appointed by dash. The options given here is A, president, B, prime minister, C, speaker of Lok Sabha, D, vice president. Okay, the correct answer is president. Students, you will write the full sentence, full statement, and the correct answer and underline the answer. Don't just write the answer and underline it. You have to write the full statement to get the full marks. Then next, Dash was appointed as the first Chief Election Commissioner of Independent India. The options are Dr. Rajendra Prasad, T.N. Sheshan, then Sukumar Sen, then Neela Satyanarayan. The correct answer is Sukumar Sen. Then constituencies are created by Dash Committee of Election Commission. Options are selection, delimitation, voting, or timetable. The correct answer is delimitation committee. The next question, Article Dash of Indian Constitution has established Election Commission as an autonomous body. So options are Article 321, 326, 296, or 324. Correct answer is Article 324. Then every Indian citizen who has completed dash years of age has a right to vote. Is it 21, 18, 16, or 25? Correct answer is 18. Then dash has the authority to issue identity card to the voters. Options are the president, the prime minister, election commission, the small political party. The correct answer is election commission. The next question is to explain whether the following statements are true or false with reasons. Okay. Now the first here is election commission lays down the code of conduct during elections. You have to mention whether it is true or whether it is false, and then you have to mention the reason as well in points. So the answer is true. Why is it true? The point is to ensure free and fair election in India, code of conduct is one of the measures to control malpractices during elections. Code of conduct explains the rules that are to be followed by the government, political parties, and voters before elections and during elections. Even the government cannot violate these rules. Next question is, under special circumstances, Election Commission holds elections in a particular constituency for a second time. The answer is true. If the elected representative in Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, or local self-government resigns or due to his death his seat becomes vacant, the elections are to be held for that seat. The next is explain the following concepts. The first one is reorganizing the constituencies. Here also you have to answer in points and you have to answer all the relevant points to get the full marks. The total number of members in Lok Sabha is 543. Then second point, every member represents one constituency. It means there are 543 constituencies of Lok Sabha. Third point, creating constituencies is the responsibility of Delimitation Commission of Election Commission. Fourth point, Delimitation Commission does not fall under any pressure while restructuring the constituencies. Then next is representation. To explain the concept of representation. First point is modern democracy is a representative democracy. Second point, in democracy, it is not possible to involve entire population in the decision-making process. Third point, this results in the beginning of electing some people on behalf of entire population as representatives who would run the government. Fourth point, the representatives who form the government are expected to be responsible to the people and give preference to the welfare of the people. Then there should be okay. This is again a question from the. You need to state whether the following true statements are true or false and give reason for the answer. So there should be secrecy in the election process. You will again answer whether it is true or false. So it is false. And the reasons are election should be conducted in a free and fair environment. If the elections are not held in free environment, there are chances of malpractices and corruption. So then it will be impossible to elect the honest and efficient candidates. Then the Election Commission has started awareness campaign for registration of voters. Again, the statement is true. The responsibility of preparing and updating electoral roll lies with Election Commission. Election Commission starts an awareness campaign to create awareness among new eligible voters so that they register themselves in voters list. The Indian voter is not much aware about the election process. Special awareness campaign is run for registration of voters registration. For their awareness, National Voters Day is celebrated every year in our country. Then we have question that is everyone who fills the nomination form can contest the election. Again, this is false because every candidate of a party or independent candidate has to be personally present to fill the nomination form. Next point is it is necessary for him or her to give complete information in the nomination forms as decided by the Election Commission. The nomination forms are then scrutinized in details. If there are irregularities in the nomination paper or form, and in the information are to be found to be false, and the nomination form are rejected. Therefore, it is not possible for everyone who fills the nomination form to contest the election. Then sometimes the election commission has to conduct midterm elections. Again, this is true. By the midterm election the election is conducted. The elected government in power loses its majority and can become a minority because of the partisan politics. If no party gets complete majority, then two or more parties come together and form a coalition government. Such coalition government collapses if any party withdraws the given support. In such situation, the government is left with no option other than resigning. If there is no alternative available to form government, then the parliament is dissolved before completing its term. In such a scenario, the election commission has to conduct midterm elections. So these are the points you need to mention for this if you get such questions. Then we come to concept chart. Okay, complete the chart. For the functions of election commission, the total 5 functions. You have got 4 here, so you can mention any four out of 5. Like preparing the voters list, declaration of election date and result, recognition to political parties, scrutiny of the application of candidates. Then flowchart on the process of election. Okay, you can get the exact way given in the textbook as well as you can get in this way also. So the first step, the first and under flowchart, the first step is establishment of constituency, then finalizing the voters list, then nomination of candidates and scrutiny of their nomination forms. Then comes election campaign, then actual voting, then counting of votes, then the results of elections, then comes at the end resolution of dispute of regarding election. Then explain the functions of election commission. This you have, as I told you, will get it in answer in detail. To explain the function of election commission, 5 points you need to mention, and you have to elaborate the points also, students, in detail to get full marks. First is to preparing the voters list. To prepare the list of eligible voters, to update the existing voter list, to include the name of new voters is the responsibility of election commission. Second point is to decide the timetable and program of elections. So the election commission decides when to conduct elections and in how many stages to hold elections in every state. Third point is scrutiny, that is detailed examination of the application of candidates. So under that you will mention selected candidates of political parties as well as independent candidates have to fill applications which include the information about their own self. The next is the election commission scrutinizes all the application and allows the eligible candidates to contest the election. Then the fourth point under functions is give recognition to political parties. That is under that you will write, in our country we have multi-party system. The election commission has the right to recognize or de-recognize the political parties. Then election commission also allots election symbols to the political parties. The fifth point under the functions you will write to resolve any disputes related to elections. So you will write the election commission has the responsibility to resolve any disputes that may arise regarding elections. The election commission can declare any candidate as disqualified or conduct re-election in a particular constituency. So you will mention all these 5 points, okay, and the answer in brief if you get this question, okay, that is 2 you will get total 2 marks, full 2 marks, students. Next question is write some additional information about the post of election commissioner. Okay, so you can mention in that first point, in Indian election commission, in India, election commissioner is the central to the process of election. Article 324 of the Indian Constitution has established this autonomous body. It consists of Chief Election Commissioner and other two commissioners. The President appoints the election commissioner. In order to preserve the independence of election commissioner, he cannot be removed from his power easily on account of political reasons. The election commission does not have a separate staff. The government officers, teachers, and other employees help election commission to execute the powers. So we have completed the part of the session 1 for this chapter. We will continue the rest part in our next lecture. Okay, student, I hope all your doubts have been clear for this particular lesson regarding the explanation or the question answers part as well. Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
By
ma'am.
end of the lecture?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay.